Manchester United have officially arrived at Molineux with a focused 23-man squad ahead of what many are calling one of the most important away fixtures of their season so far. This isn't just another Premier League outing. This is a momentum-shifting opportunity, a chance to climb the table, restore confidence, and send a message that United are not out of the Champions League race yet. Despite injuries, setbacks, and questions surrounding the team's mentality, Ruben Amorim's men have touched down in the Midlands looking sharp, locked in, and ready for a battle under the lights. The United team bus rolled into Molineux earlier this evening, and you could feel the intensity as the players stepped off. Hoodies up, headphones on, nothing but focus. This squad understands the importance of this night. United sit 12th in the league, but a win pulls them up to 6th, suddenly right behind 4th place. Everything is still on the table, but the performance tonight has to match the ambition. Let's break down the squad updates, who's returned, who's missing, and how the predicted XC is shaping up for this massive showdown against Wolves. Goalkeeper Senne Lammens keeps his spot between the posts. Since his debut against Sunderland in October, he has been Amorim's trusted starter. A clean sheet has eluded him since that first appearance, but facing a Wolves side who have taken only 2 points all season gives him a golden chance to end that streak. In defence, the big headline is the return of Matthijs de Ligt, who is back after a minor injury. The £33 million defender slots into the back three alongside Luke Shaw and Noussair Mazraoui, who produced arguably his best performance in a United shirt against West Ham. Young Aidan Heaven, who struggled for confidence with a nervy 45 minutes in the last game, is expected to drop to the bench. Meanwhile, Harry Maguire is ruled out with a hamstring issue, and although Lisandro Martinez is travelling, he is only ready for a late cameo as Amorim slowly rebuilds his fitness after long-term injury. The wing-backs remain unchanged. Amad Diallo keeps his place on the right after contributing in the build-up to Dalot's goal last weekend, while Diogo Dalot stays on the left. The pair have formed a strong partnership in Amorim's system, offering creativity and width. In midfield, there are no surprises. Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes are nailed-on starters. Amorim made headlines in his press conference when he openly said Kobbie Mainoo is not yet ready to start ahead of Bruno, stressing that the youngster is currently backup for the Portuguese captain. It was blunt, it was bold, and it piled pressure on Mainoo. But Amorim is clearly pushing standards. In the attacking midfield, we expect one major change. Mason Mount comes in for Joshua Zirkzee. Zirkzee was denied a goal by a remarkable goal-line clearance from Wan-Bissaka against West Ham, but his overall output has dipped, and Amorim may opt for Mount's movement, intensity, and willingness to press from deep. Mount joins Bryan Mbeumo, whose work rate and ball-carrying ability will be crucial against a Wolves defence that has been shaky all season. Leading the line is Matheus Cunha, back against his former club with fire in his eyes. He knows the Wolves' backline inside out, he knows their weaknesses, and he hasn't scored in his last 3 league games, something he is desperate to fix tonight. Amorim is backing him to deliver the punch United need in the final third. Up front, Benjamin Šeško remains unavailable, still recovering from the knee injury he picked up against Spurs. So the predicted United lineup looks like this: Lammens, Mazraoui, De Ligt, Shaw, Diallo, Casemiro, Bruno, Dalot, Mount, Mbeumo, Cunha. This is a huge game, not because Wolves are flying, but because United simply cannot afford to slip again. Molineux has not been kind to them recently, and Wolves did the double over United last season, but everything about tonight feels different. Amorim's system is settling, De Ligt's return brings defensive authority, Mount adds mobility, and Cunha looks like a man on a mission. Big game, big pressure, big opportunity. Do you agree with Mount starting? Can Cunha deliver against his former club? Drop your predicted scorelines and lineups in the comments. In other news, today we're diving into a developing story around Ousmane Diamand, one of Europe's most exciting young defenders, and the growing resistance coming from his camp. If you want every inside update on potential United signings, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Let's get straight into it. Manchester United transfer target won't sign new contract in big Old Trafford negotiations boost. Manchester United have received a boost to their hopes of landing one of European football's most sought-after central defenders. Manchester United's three centre-back formation could be supplemented with another highly rated defender next summer. Ruben Amorim has favoured a setup which employs three central defenders with full-backs pushed slightly higher up the pitch on either side. While Manchester United's tactics have been criticised, the team appear to have turned a corner in recent weeks. The odd poor result aside, Manchester United transfer target closer to exit after contract development. The team's defensive record isn't exactly spotless, but as they sit 7th in the Premier League table, things could be a lot worse. Nevertheless, a club of Manchester United's stature and resources are always looking to enhance their squad. According to a report in leading Portuguese newspaper A Bola, Manchester United have effectively been given a green light to advance negotiations with Sporting Clube de Portugal over the future of defender Ousmane Diamande. Ivorian centre-half Diamande has been linked with a whole host of Premier League clubs, but most frequently tipped to sign at Old Trafford. Crystal Palace and Newcastle United are both credited with an interest in the 21-year-old, but it is difficult to envisage the centre-back turning down a concrete approach from Manchester United, should one materialise. A Bola report that Diamande is resisting contract renegotiations at the Estadio José Alvalade, and with only 18 months remaining on his deal, Sporting could be forced into a sale over the next few months if they are to extract maximum value from one of their premium assets. Sporting are keen to extend Diamande's stay until 2030, protecting his transfer value in the process, but so far, negotiations have stalled. It is alleged there is resistance from the player and his agency, Roof, who also represent current Premier League stars Kai Havertz, Mohamed Kudus and Harvey Elliott. A Bola report Diamande's earnings to be approximately €15,000 per week before tax, with Sporting keen to double that figure. Signing for a Premier League club, however, would likely see Diamande's pay packet increase beyond the £30,000 per week mark. Crystal Palace reportedly lodged a €55 million, £48 million offer for Diamande over the summer, which is said to have been rejected due to the player's release clause sitting at a reported €80 million, £70 million. Manchester United signed Leny Yoro and Matthijs de Ligt for a combined €120 million back in 2024. It's a tricky one. Diamande's talent is real, but so is the resistance from his camp. Should United push for another young defender or focus elsewhere? Drop your thoughts below. And if you want every transfer twist delivered instantly, don't forget to subscribe to United Vision. In other news, Fabrizio Romano comments on whether João Gomes would choose to sign for Manchester United during the season. João Gomes has been heavily linked with a move to Manchester United in January, but it may be a challenge to convince Wolves to sell one of their main players midway through the season. Manchester United are expected to sign a midfielder in 2026 after being linked with multiple options. Many of the reported targets have Premier League experience, such as Adam Wharton, Carlos Baleba and Elliot Anderson. United signed 5 players in the summer, but none of them were midfielders, overlooking the area after Christian Eriksen left at the end of his contract. Ruben Amorim is standing by Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro as his preferred double pivot, while Kobbie Mainoo and Manuel Ugarte sit on the bench. It remains to be seen if United will get any deals over the line in January. João Gomes keen on Man United transfer. João Gomes is another midfield target for United, but Wolves do not really want to lose him in January. That doesn't mean Wolves won't agree to a deal for Gomes because every player has their price. Reports suggest United have held talks over a deal for Gomes, with the Brazilian seen as a potential replacement for Casemiro. Reliable journalist Fabrizio Romano has provided an update on Gomes, stressing that the midfielder is keen on a move to Old Trafford. João Gomes could be one to watch with a player very keen on a move to Manchester United even without European football this season, Romano said on his YouTube channel. João Gomes would be more than happy to go to Man United, but this depends on what happens with Wolves and if Man United want to go for an opportunity or wait for their absolute top priorities. So let's see what's going to happen there. So it seems like United have got the green light from Gomes. Now they need to strike an agreement with Wolves before the deal can materialise. Meanwhile, The Athletic claims United are not interested in Gomes, but only time will tell. João Gomes once admitted he'd play for Liverpool. Gomes once voiced his ambition of playing for Liverpool, a team competing regularly in the Champions League. The 24-year-old is in his third season at Wolves, having joined from Flamengo in January 2023, but he signed a new 5-year deal at Molineux in April. However, in 2022, Gomes told ESPN Brazil that he would play for Liverpool. "Liverpool is a team I would play for," Gomes said. "I have the greatest desire to play. Playing in the Champions League is my biggest dream and that of my family, my biggest dream in football. If João Gomes really wants the move, United have to decide how fast they push for it. What do you think, Reds? Should we go for him now or wait?" Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that subscribe button. In other news, Manchester United face £44 million transfer battle as gentleman's agreement emerges. Manchester United boss Ruben Amorim could move to strengthen his midfield in January to bolster the club's Champions League hopes. Manchester United face a fight to land Wolves midfield ace João Gomes if they make a January move. A new midfielder will be top of Ruben Amorim's wish list if United look to strengthen in the mid-season window. United are unbeaten in 5 Premier League outings, their best run under Amorim since his appointment 12 months ago, with the club aiming to qualify for Europe next season. Having spent over £200 million to rebuild the club's ailing attack and finding themselves a new number 1 in the shape of Senne Lammens, adding more quality to United's midfield ranks, is the next port of call. Nottingham Forest and England midfielder Elliot Anderson is admired by those at the club, while Brighton's Carlos Baleba was considered last summer. However, both would likely cost in excess of £100 million. United are also understood to have been monitoring Brazil international Gomes over the past 18 months, and he has emerged as a more cost-effective alternative, with suggestions of a £44 million price tag mooted in some overseas reports. However, Wolves are loath to sell their prized asset, given the club's dire situation in the Premier League. And amid growing fan unrest, new manager Rob Edwards has been hired with the club, vowing to do all it can to remain in the top flight. And that includes telling the new head coach that, despite only having 2 points from 11 games thus far, they will not be cashing in on their star man as they look to give themselves the best possible chance of staying up. Gomes would undoubtedly be keen on a move to United, where he would team up with £62.5 million former Wolves teammate Matheus Cunha, who has previously labelled the ex-Flamengo star unbelievable. And he will be aware that a move to United may not still be there in the summer if other options appear at the table. But Wolves are ready to insist he stays put until the end of the campaign, unless United make an offer that is simply too good for the Midlands club to refuse. What do you think? Should United splash £44 million now to secure João Gomes, or wait until the summer and risk missing out? Drop your thoughts below and make sure you subscribe to United Vision for all your daily updates in other news. Today we're talking about the £35 million Premier League engine who could become Ruben Amorim's January game changer. Let's get into it. He's the one. £35 million star who Ineos are seriously considering signing in January would be cherry on top for Amorim. Paul Parker has claimed that the addition of Conor Gallagher to Ruben Amorim's squad in January would be the cherry on top for the coach. It's certainly being considered by Ineos chiefs too. Back in the final days of the summer window, United had a loan offer rejected for Gallagher, after Atletico Madrid made it clear they would only facilitate a permanent sale. Weeks prior, they had also rebuffed the same approach from Crystal Palace, who were keen on bringing the former loanee back to Selhurst Park. However, the midfielder has since been utilised sparingly by Diego Simeone at the Metropolitano. How Gallagher is faring this campaign in Spain? He's started only twice in the opening 12 La Liga matches and has totalled a measly 339 minutes in action. In Europe, Gallagher has featured in all 4 of Atleti's UCL fixtures thus far, albeit only twice from the off. Such a reduced role has resulted in the 25-year-old being completely cast aside from the England setup, having not been called up since 2025/2026 got underway, with an abundance of talent across the field for Thomas Tuchel to choose from each international break. He's hardly going to be looking at the likes of Gallagher, who isn't playing anywhere near enough to warrant a place over his national counterparts. From the player's perspective, he'll be desperate to secure increased game time elsewhere in the second half of the term to give him even the slightest chance of making Tuchel's World Cup squad next summer. He did travel with the Three Lions to Qatar in 2022, but was an unused substitute throughout the tournament. 2 years later, the Chelsea graduate had done enough in Gareth Southgate's eyes to feature 5 times at Euro 2024, where England reached the final before losing to Spain. A return to the Premier League would likely entice Gallagher, as it would allow him to ply his trade in a much more familiar environment, and ideally, reignite the best version of himself. Parker. Gallagher could be the one for Amorim. Parker poured praise on the former Blue when speaking to Ut District this week, suggesting he'd be a perfect fit for his former club, United. If you're looking to take it forward slowly and you want to do something, you have to have something in the back end that you look to build on, he began. You look to build on with that person coming in on loan, or you see you get someone on loan who does well, you get that caliber of player to come in, get it cemented in, then Connor is the one, he's the one player I think they need. One player who plays a lot of football, doesn't get injured often, and is willing to play. I've watched him many a time when he was at Palace and when he was at Chelsea, and every time you see him grimacing, the lad wants to play games of football. If he doesn't play, it's a good reason. Even if he's had a knock, he wants to play football, and I know that if he comes to Manchester United, that would be the cherry on the top. That's the latest on Conor Gallagher and United's growing interest. What do you think? Should Ineos make him the priority signing in January? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to United Vision, so you never miss a breaking update in other news. Rio Ferdinand has dropped a bold verdict on one Manchester United star, calling him a joke. You won't believe who he's talking about. But before we dive in, make sure to smash that subscribe button, hit like, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest United scoop. Rio Ferdinand singles out Manchester United star with telling prediction. He's a joke. Manchester United have put together their best run since Ruben Amorim took charge 12 months ago, with Rio Ferdinand making clear who he believes have been integral to their recent upturn in form. Rio Ferdinand has heaped praise on Manchester United's in-form forward Bryan Mbeumo, labelling the £71 million star a joke. Signed in the summer from Brentford, the Cameroon international has stepped up to the plate for United since his big money move to Old Trafford, emerging as the chief goal threat in Ruben Amorim's expensively assembled new look attack. While Benjamin Sesko has taken time to settle and Matheus Cunha has impressed with his all-round game and work ethic, Mbeumo has registered 6 goals and an assist in his opening 12 games. He was named the Premier League's Player of the Month for October, at a time where United have gone 5 games unbeaten in all competitions. Former United defender Ferdinand was asked to name the club's most important player right now on his YouTube podcast, and was quick to highlight how impressed he has been with the 26-year-old. Mbeumo has been a joke, said Ferdinand. He's really stepped in there and become a mainstay. He's someone who can give you 2 or 3 seconds on the ball to relieve pressure. He can score important goals and create chances. I saw Thomas Frank's comments about him the other day, and Mbeumo nearly being a complete winger. I think by the end of this season, he'll be one of the most complete wingers in the Premier League, because he can do everything. He just needs to consistently do it in a United shirt. Mbeumo was not the only player Ferdinand praised, with both Matthijs de Ligt and new goalkeeper Senne Lammens having impressed the ex-England centre-back. You can't talk about anyone being our most important player without mentioning the goalkeeper, added Ferdinand. It's no coincidence we've had an upturn in form. We've got a goalkeeper that it seems all the players trust. On the subject of de Ligt, who was at United last term, but after issues with form and fitness has been an ever-present this term, playing every minute thus far, Ferdinand added, I think Matthijs de Ligt has been our best defender this season. He's been outstanding for us. He's even adding goals, with the last-minute one the other day against Tottenham. His pressing, his assertiveness, and his willingness to go into foreign areas up the pitch to defend at the right times has been good. Clearing out of the box, he has been brilliant. That's all for today's update, Reds. If you enjoyed the video, smash that like button, subscribe to United Vision, and turn on that bell to stay updated with everything happening at Old Trafford. We've got more exclusive updates, reactions, and deep dives coming your way. Glory, glory, Man United.